Hey, I'm Sean, and welcome to today's episode. I'm excited about this one. This one's a really fun one. We are going to talk today about how to get to 6 figures of income in real estate. And the reason I'm excited about this one is I've been training and coaching new real estate agents for well over a decade at this point. And what's hilarious is it's like unanimous. I would say probably 95, almost 100% of new real estate agents, when they first get into the business, you ask them what they want to do, and they tell you they want to make $100,000 of income. So I don't know how I didn't make this podcast earlier. Shame on me, because this is one of the most commonly asked questions is how do I make $100,000 of income in real estate? So we're going to talk about it. Okay. Now, I just want to say that I also just finished a podcast last week on how to get to $50,000 of income. And that one is going to be a great foundation for this one. So you could listen to this if you've already got a couple deals under your belt. But if you're brand new, take an extra 15, 20 minutes. Check that one out as well, because I think that's going to be more ready to meet you where you're at. There's a little bit of setup that we did in that one that would really help you moving forward with today. Okay, here's the deal. You've written a couple transactions, right? Like those first few were the hardest transactions, and yet these next few and getting consistent is probably the thing that stops more agents from being able to continue forward in their real estate career than just about anything else. I hate to say it because it sounds doesn't sound good saying it, but nowadays where many people live, it's really hard for a family to survive on less than about 100,000. You can get by with less, absolutely, but to live a good, decent lifestyle and maybe have a little bit of room for vacation and nice groceries sometimes and not stress if you need to take an Uber, man, things are expensive, right? So we got into real estate not to make what an average person makes at a salary job, 9 to 5 with benefits and security. We took a risk here. And so I don't think it's weird or greedy that people want to make $100,000. You should want and need to make that much to stay in this industry because it's stressful. You're going to work hard. There's tons that might push you out of it. Okay, so you've landed your first deal, your first 3, maybe your first 5 deals, right? You're now at the point that you could reasonably expect to make between 40 and 60 grand a year in real estate, and you're like, how do I actually get to the point that this is like a fruitful endeavor for me? Okay. Chances are you're not really feeling very confident yet. Okay. You're probably not sure where your next deals are coming from. You might be like, oh, my neighbor might sell later this year. I think maybe I'll talk to them. But there's no consistency in your business. And that's really the big thing that we need to fix. If I'm going to put it bluntly, we need to get your shit together. Okay. So I've got 3 main areas that you need to focus on if you're going to stick, if you're going to get to the 100K mark. The cool thing is once you get there, it starts to flow, right? If you can just get up to about that mark, chances are you'll continue to grow and you'll have a really nice business in a couple of years. So here's what you need to do. You want to make 100 grand in real estate, the first thing you need to do is get serious about your leads. You need to get serious about your leads. And what I mean is a couple things in this. First of all, you need to get serious about bringing in new leads. You need to be serious about lead generation. Okay. Here's what you need to do with lead generation. You need to have at least 3 or 4 different places your leads come from. One is not enough. One is going to create instability. There's a ton of risk associated with it, and you're always going to be serving the same kind of person. You might have this golden goose right around the corner that you're missing. Okay. I'm going to make it really easy for you. The first pillar of your lead generation plan out of the 3 or 4 is going to just be your sphere of influence, the people who already know you, like you, and trust you. And not just your family, it's like your dentist, the people who you live your life alongside, okay? And you're also going to put your past clients and your community, like people in your neighborhood, okay? So that's going to be your first one. Trust me on this. You might say, oh, I don't want to bug people I know. Trust me, they want to hear from you. You're letting them down if you don't talk to them. Please, okay? Number two is going to be referral marketing. So what you're going to do is you're going to put together a plan where throughout the course of the year, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that you do for that first group. And then you're going to create a more basic plan that doesn't cost you as much, because a lot of the stuff that you might do in referral marketing, which we'll cover on another episode, might cost a little money, little treats and gifts and stuff like that. And your referral marketing plan is going to be something that you put out to everyone. You're going to remind them you're in real estate, you're going to delight them, you're going to educate them, and you're going to find opportunities to be around them. That's all you're going to do. Okay. Okay. The third one it absolutely must be prospecting based. This means that it's an activity that you do. It's something that you can walk out your door and do 5 days a week. That's low cost or no cost, right? It's simple. You just need to find something that you can say, oh, well, it's Tuesday and I don't have any appointments, so I'm going to go find leads. I'm sound like a broken record because I say this all the time, but guys, I've sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate just knocking on people's doors or calling them up. People live in houses, right? Like we sell these things. We sell houses and people live right inside them. Turns out you can just go knock on their door and be like, "Hey buddy, do you want to sell?" It's so easy. So you don't have to do that. You could do a networking group. You could do open houses 5 days a week, but if you're only doing open houses once or twice a week when you can get them, then that doesn't count as a pillar. It has to be something that you can move the lever on your own, not wait and hope that you can do. You could do pop buys to people who are part of your sphere. It could be literally anything. It's really simple. If you want a list, drop a comment and we'll send you a list. And I'd be happy to share one with you of all the different cool things you can do to prospect. But keep it cheap because you don't have a big budget yet. And I don't want you to be in risk of getting overrun by your expenses. Okay. Now, here's the fun thing. I said you get 3 or 4. So you have your sphere of influence, your referral marketing, and you're going to do something to grow your database through prospecting. The fourth one, that's an elective. You get to do whatever cool thing you want to do. You want to become a TikTok star. You want to make short videos and post them on YouTube. You want to do something embarrassing and see if it leads to you doing business. Whatever you're passionate about, just plug into that. Okay, so now you've got leads coming in. I said that we need to get serious about our leads though, so there's more work that you need to do. Okay, so the second thing that you need to do when it comes to your leads is you've got to get organized. Okay, you've got hopefully by now some kind of contact relationship management software, a CRM or a database, we often call them. You need to organize this in a couple ways. First thing you need to do is you need to organize it for marketing. So all of those people who are a part of your sphere of influence, you're going to tag them so that when you're saying, hey, I've got all these cool trinkets I ordered, they're like the little coffee cup with like hot chocolate packs or something, I'm going to go drop them off at people's doors. You need to easily pull up that list. You also want to mark everyone else to get your global marketing campaign, and you want to make sure that you do things like respect the do not call list and anti-spam regulations, right? Okay, great. Now that we've done that, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to categorize our people, okay? So in your database, there's also going to be 2 broad groups that exist. People who might move and people who don't have plans to move. These guys over here are super important to you, so you need to pay attention to them, okay? So all of the people who might move, you might consider tagging them a certain way, so you could pull them up as a group. You might also consider tagging them in timeframes. I used to tag mine by market cycle, so spring 2025 or fall 2027. And then I would know that I could pull up anyone who said they might move that time. I could pull them up and check in on them, right? I'm also going to tag my past and closed, my people who I consider my sphere, because if I'm doing something social, I might invite them. I'm going to also take my entire database as I'm doing my leads, and I'm going to tag them by lead source. So if I got someone from an open house, I might want to go back and call all my open house sheets later. That's a gold mine, by the way, 2 years from now. Okay. Now, all of the people who are potential business need to be tagged in a certain way. And the way that you're going to make sure you never drop the ball on them, I actually said tag. It's not even a tag. All of the people who might do business, all of your potential business need to have a due date. In different systems, this is going to be a different name or title, but basically it comes down to an activity. You need to call them at a certain time. And this is like the net they put under the trapeze walker, right? If everyone who might do business at some point has a call date, then they're not going to fall out of your mind and just disappear because you didn't think of them. Okay. You live by these call dates. So respect them. This is the most important calls you make every single week because this is where you turn all that work you did into a pile of money. Okay. And then anyone who doesn't have a call date, you should assign by DTD2. Okay, DTD2 is this cool little way of organizing people using the first letter of their last name. And it's where we pair up certain letters from the alphabet. And by pairing them up, we've selected pairs that over the course of the whole alphabet all the groups will be about the same size. So it's not A and B, it's like A and Q and N and W. And what happens is every week, if you call through 2 letters, you'll touch everyone about once per quarter. And it's just a really simple way to stay in front of all the people that you need to talk to. So all the people who are past and closed, sphere of influence. It's a great way to maintain the relationship. Now be careful. Don't put absolutely everybody you meet on this, because if you put 4,000 people on quarterly calls, do the math, your life's going to suck. Okay. So we just talked about getting serious about your leads. I know that was a lot, but trust me, if you just set up a couple little things like 4 tags, a due date, and the DTD2 thing early, it's not going to become an overwhelming task later. If you have 300 people in your database, you can do all of this in about 4 hours. Sit down, put YouTube on or Netflix in the background, and just knock it out. Trust me. Okay. The second thing you're going to need to do if you want to get to 6 figures in revenue is you need to get serious about your time. Okay. Everyone has the same number of minutes in a day. And somehow some people get a lot more done than others. And that's because they are incredibly diligent about how they use their time. Now, people get into real estate and they're like, oh, but I got into real estate because I didn't want to work 9 to 5. I want to create my own schedule and have my lifestyle. And it's like, yeah, great. You can have that. Trust me, when I was at my peak in selling, I was working like 25, 35 hours most weeks because I had it nailed. But the hours that I worked, I was zeroed in. You could not pull me to something else. Hey, want to get a coffee? No, I don't. I have an appointment with myself to get my work done. Here's the secret to it. The way you get freedom is through discipline. You get freedom through discipline. So if you're very disciplined about how you spend your time, you get freedom with all the rest of your time because you're going to all your work done in a really short period of time. It's beautiful. Trust me. Okay. The other thing that I want you to do is I want you to take all of the crappy stuff you got to do, all of the boring stuff, all the stuff that you don't feel like doing. You're going to do it first thing in the morning. If you win the morning, you win the day. Get your exercise out of the way, do your push-ups, do your stretches, get energized. And then you're going to sit down. You're going to spend like 3 hours calling people, 3 hours door knocking, 3 hours going to the mall and tapping people on the shoulder and asking them if they want to buy real estate, whatever it is you want to make your prospecting thing. You're going to do that for 3 hours every single morning. And that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But guess what? 100 grand is also a lot. And if you want to have 100, 200, 300, 500, $500,000 of income, you're going to have to do this stuff. Please believe me. Okay. People go through school to be lawyers and doctors to make this kind of money. You're not going to get it working part-time and complaining that nothing shows up for you. You got to go get it for yourself. Okay. Now, that time in the morning, an easy way to think about it is one of the things we talk about constantly in my coaching groups is there's 5 jobs in real estate: script and role play, lead generation, lead follow-up, attend appointments, and negotiate contracts. Those are the 5 things that make you money: script and role play, lead generation, lead follow-up, negotiate contracts, and attend appointments. Here's the thing. If you do those first 3 in the morning, the other 2 just find you, basically. You just got to get those 3 done before you leave your office every day. Okay. Now, here's the thing. This might seem hard when you start, but it's going to get even harder 2 or 3 months in, and you're going to be tempted to quit. But if you push through, that's what's going to get you to the finish line, right? If you push through those first couple months, that's where the gold lies. Okay. So you've got to set your habits. You got to get disciplined. You just got to stick to it. I can't recommend highly enough reading a book called Atomic Habits. But if you want a cheat sheet on how it applies to real estate, I'm going to link my previous blog. We just did a blog recently, and I'm going to link that in the comments. I'll link my podcast because I did a podcast on it as well because I just love that book. Okay. Look, here's the deal with real estate. Real estate is simple, but that does not mean it's easy. This is a business that anyone can create an amazing amount of wealth in, but you got to be disciplined. You got to do it, and you got to stay organized, especially as you grow. Okay. So, go back and listen to that podcast on habits. It's really going to help you and learn to love the rituals that fall into the way that you lead your week. Create some little opportunities for fun in the whole thing, and it's gonna help you want to really do it. Remember, the best things come through long-term commitments, not short-term instant gratification. Okay. And you know what? If you build your calendar and you put all this in and you just live by it, you're going to find that you get all the free time you need on the back end. Okay. I hope you do this. I hope that you go and create this for yourself, because there's plenty of room for all of us to create amazing businesses for ourselves in this industry. It's an amazing industry, but it's not going to happen unless you make it for yourself. Okay. So if you need help, get at us, man. This is what we do. We help people get set up. We teach you how to do it. And we got programs for people in every phase of the business. We would love to have you be part of our community. And if not, keep hanging out here. Watch out for my next podcast. We're going to talk about how to go past your first 6 figures, and we'll check in on you soon. Thanks again.